9/11 veterans. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Slow down.
All right, thanks, Jessica. Now we're continuing to monitor power outages this morning across the valley. Here's a look at the AEP outage map. Right now, there are various customers without power in Hidalgo County, and this includes AEP and Magic Valley customers. And in Cameron County, various other customers in the dark. Starr and Willacy counties are currently not impacted, but all crews are working hard to get your lights back on. Estimated restoration times do vary, but we're going to keep an eye on it, and we're going to update you again before the end of the hour. Now this morning, ERCOT is asking customers to conserve power from 6 a.m. to 9 in the morning. A conservation notice is voluntary, and it's the first step to ensuring the power grid can withstand high demand. Now, if conditions worsen, ERCOT would enter emergency operations, including rolling blackouts. The state is stressed that the call to conserve does not mean that we have entered into emergency conditions, though.
We're not expecting that we're going to have to be in emergency operations or have to get to controlled outages. The mitigations that we're taking to prevent that have been very effective.
Currently looking at ERCOT grid conditions, which are operating under normal conditions. This means that there is enough power for the current demand. And some utilities are asking customers and businesses to conserve electricity for at least the next 24 hours. AEP Texas and Magic Valley say that they are not seeking any fluctuations in service. The Brownsville Public Utilities Board is asking customers to reduce their usage during peak energy hours. Now those hours are in the morning between 7 and 9 a.m. and again in the evening from 6 to 10 p.m. They're asking you to conserve due to the high demand across our state.
Large electrical equipment that's still connected in your home is still receiving some sort of power. So whether you're using it or not, if your stove, if your microwave, if your generator, if your heating equipment is connected, even if you have it off, it's still getting that energy through.
And if you are experiencing an outage, you can report it on the online reporting tool, or you can call your customer service. Well, it's cold here, but millions of Americans are under wind chill alerts as harsh winter weather continues to sweep across the nation. An Arctic chill is expected to bring record lows over the next few days, and on Sunday, snowfall in Buffalo, New York has even postponed an NFL playoff game. Jessica Kirsch has the very latest.
This morning, an Arctic blast is sweeping the country. More than 100 million Americans waking up to bitter cold.
So when it's like this, right, and it's calm and it's just falling down.
It's fine. It feels good.
But when you feel that wind.
It feels really, I felt like my jaw was freezing. Oof. It was very cold.
In Grand Rapids, Michigan, today is expected to be the 7th straight day of snow. The frigid punch also hitting millions with bone-chilling temperatures, making the job even harder for first responders. In Oregon, officials say a woman was killed in an RV fire after a tree fell on the vehicle. First responders finding some roads impassable and a fire hydrant believed to be likely frozen. Much of the country could dip 20 to 45 degrees below average today, including parts of Texas, where cold weather has overwhelmed the power grid in recent years.
If you lose power, you lose heat, then you risk your pipes freezing. So, yeah, we might have to look into installing a generator, just in case.
For those braving the cold, getting around has been a mess. Hundreds of flights canceled because of the storms, stranding passengers. Even Amtrak also canceling some trains. And driving has been treacherous too, with icy roads and blinding snow. Officials say this Colorado highway was hit by an avalanche.
It's overall just been a terrible, terrible winter. And it came out of nowhere.
Well, some school districts have canceled school altogether today. Here are just a few of them listed on your screen. Other districts are delaying start times. We have a full list of those delays and cancellations on valleycentral.com. Also on valleycentral.com, we have the latest on warming shelters that are open. Just head to our site, look for the story called Warming Centers Open for Residents Seeking Shelter from Cold Weather. And when you click, you're going to be directed to the article. We have shelters listed by each city. The federal government is giving Texas until tomorrow to remove all barriers from Shelby Park and Eagle Pass, or else. DHS sent a cease and desist letter sent to Attorney General Ken Paxton following the takeover of the park. Border Patrol agents are being denied access, which DHS says is hindering their ability to do their jobs. If the state does not comply, federal authorities plan to refer the matter to the Justice Department for appropriate action. Polls predicted former President Trump would win big, and he did. The former president dominated the Iowa caucuses, but there were surprises in the races as well. And one candidate ended his bid for the White House. Now the focus shifts to New Hampshire. Alice Barr has the very latest.
The first win of the 2024 presidential race is on the board, and it's a big one. Former President Trump projected to carry Iowa with more than 50% of the vote.
We want to thank the great people of Iowa. Thank you. We love you all.
The former president clearly looking ahead to the general election, offering his Republican rivals rare compliments and promising unity.
Whether it's Republican or Democrat or liberal or conservative, it would be so nice if we could come together.
While at the same time slamming President Biden.
He is the worst president that we've had in the history of our country.
No clear Trump alternative emerges from Iowa. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis outperformed the latest polls to pull out a distant second-place finish after betting big on Iowa, pouring in time and money here.
We've got our ticket punched out of Iowa.
Former UN ambassador and South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley finished closely behind DeSantis, and she'll have the advantage heading into New Hampshire, where she's built up strong support.
Our campaign is the last best hope of stopping the Trump-Biden nightmare.
Entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy dropping out of the race after finishing fourth and endorsing former President Trump. A narrowing road to the White House with election season officially underway. In Des Moines, Iowa, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Haley will head to New Hampshire, and DeSantis is going to make a stop in South Carolina, where he thinks he has a better shot. Caucus primaries. These are some of the words that we will hear as we inch closer to November. But do you know the difference between a caucus and a primary? Caucuses are meetings that are run by political parties rather than the government, and they don't directly elect a presidential candidate. And primaries, on the other hand, are hosted by the government and allow individual voters to cast a ballot in favor of their favorite candidates running for office. The New Hampshire primaries are next in our election cycle. Fresh off his Iowa win, President Trump will be at the center of a civil trial set to start today in New York City. Writer E. Jean Carroll says Trump defamed her in 2019 after she accused him in a magazine article of raping her years earlier. Carroll is seeking $10 million in damages, and in a separate case last May, a jury found Trump liable for sexual abuse and defamation, awarding Carroll $5 million in damages. And Apple is removing a blood oxygen measurement tool from 2 of its watch models. This comes to avoid the sales ban on the Apple devices. Now, you may remember last month, Apple stopped its sales for the Series 9 and Watch Ultra 2 watch models over a long patent dispute with the health tech company Masimo. Now, the tool measures the saturation of oxygen in the device, and it reads oxygen levels that can lead to serious health conditions, including damage to the brain, heart, and other organs. In a statement, Masimo called Apple's move to remove the tool from its watches a positive step toward accountability. Modified Apple Watches have been already shipped to the company's retail stores, but it's not yet been approved for sale. And hybrid work arrangements are emerging in the post-pandemic era. When offices emptied out during the pandemic, many were unsure if they'd ever return to a cubicle 5 days a week style work week, with just 20% of workers fully on site in 2023. Now, that's according to one poll, and the mix of remote and in-office work is proving a winning compromise for both employees and their higher-ups. One expert says there's a big push that full-time office work may be over.
Have CEOs accepted they have to be more flexible?
I think CEOs are being more adaptable. They've realized that trying to force people back into the office wasn't working. It was actually shooting them in the foot. And so they need to adapt their culture and their working style to the needs of the workforce, because it is your talent ultimately that helps you drive the results that you're trying to achieve.
Well, guys, we're not the only ones experiencing these cold temperatures. As I showed you earlier,